Hello, good afternoon. Go ahead and get started here. Just a few announcements here. Student athletes, feel free to take your artwork there off the trophy cases out there in the hallway at the conclusion of the ceremony here. Our pens and letters will be handed out by your coaches after we're done here as well. So stick around and make sure you're getting those. So going to get some thank yous here out of the way here real quick. First and foremost, thanks to the Booster Club for the refreshments outside, the Booster Club and the moms together, the locker decorations throughout the year, the care packages and everything that they provide for playoff games. The kids really love those things. All the fundraising that you do throughout the year, the Bulldog merchandise, whether it's district basketball t-shirts, pork steak dinner, the golf tournament that we'll be doing again here this summer. You guys work really, really hard to make sure that our athletes have everything that they need. So we thank you for all your hard work. Special thanks to Ashley Freeze for doing our programs for tonight and our programs throughout the year for all of our sporting events and all of our reminders to make sure that I get her the roster that she needs to do them. That's good. Thank you to our administration, Mr. Dorson, Mr. Dow. If we counted correctly, over 120 nights here for games, concerts, dances, banquets, plays, you name it. So thank you very much there as well. Thank you to our coaching staff, the ladies and gentlemen up here in front, and those who could not be here or are not sitting here. Mr. Slutshire, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Quest, Mr. Mailer, Mr. Gross, Ms. Allgood, Mrs. Crowley, Mrs. Freed, Mrs. Elliott, Mrs. Wells, Mrs. Chitwood, and Mr. Dorson. Thank you to our bus drivers. Bus drivers are kind of a big deal. Mr. Cheney, Mr. S right up here, Jason, Angie, Mr. McGowan, and others for getting us to and from these athletic events safely. Mr. Quest is supposed to do that, by the way. So thank you very, very much for driving us to these events. Mrs. Starkey, thank you for helping out with the digital signatures for our programs. Mr. Quest for taking care of our Facebook page and alert system. Our photographers, Bill Girding and Diana Gerke. Sandy Dorson, Mr. Cheney, Mr. Wells, Mr. Bard for helping out, making Sam's runs for our concession stand. Jolene and Linda and Mr. Moppin for doing our hospitality rooms during our tournaments. They do an awesome job. We receive a lot of compliments, and that's a big reason why a lot of teams like to come back to tournaments. So what they do is kind of a big deal. Our middle school and high school basketball score table crews and Facebook Live crews, Brendan Hunley, Travis Hunley, Kelsey Dobson, Sandy Dorson, Jackson Dorson, Tyson Dow, Sydney Dow, Luke Polson, Brooke McGowan, Natalie Wiseman, and Sophia Bell. Thank you very, very much. Molly Baker, Clint Polson, Corinne Chitwood for helping out the scoreboard and announcing during games, and John Chitwood as well. Mr. McGowan and the FFA for doing the concessions during our basketball tournament, and the girls basketball team and the PTO during our spring baseball games this year. Anthony Shiflett of Shiflett Awards in Fayette for doing our trophies and engraving this year. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've had some pretty cool images on Facebook this year. The designs out there with our posters were all done by Sophia Held and Mrs. Freeze's business communications class. So huge shout out to you guys. Thank you very much. I would like to thank my assistant athletic directors, Tanner Bishop and Drew Rohr. These guys help out a bunch during the year, especially during softball and baseball season with the field and everything. So thank you very much. Rick Sage. Rick Sage is our athletic trainer, contractor through Mizzou, and he does an excellent job helping make sure our student athletes are healthy, they're safe, and they're ready to compete. So a lot of thanks to Rick. Our local media for covering sporting events. Chris Bowie, Justin Addison, Greg Schmidt of KMMO, Dale Montier of KWRT, Press, KMMO, and KMZU. Thank you to the many local businesses. A lot of you guys are sitting in here. So thank you for your patronage, your sponsorships, your support, placing ads in newspapers, programs, outside for a tournament, you name it. We definitely appreciate your support. Okay. And last, thank you to all the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the family friends, you name it, for getting these kids to and from practices, to and from games, making sure they got their homework done and done well. We thank you very, very much, because we cannot do all of this without you guys. So thanks a lot. So let's get this going here. First and foremost, we got Coach Dow doing softball.
Instead of getting up here twice, as you can see, the blessing for you guys, my voice is about gone. So this won't take long, but I do want to welcome you guys for coming out today. I told Eric to go ahead and start, and then I will do the welcome. But special thanks to the staff up here and everybody and all their hard work throughout the year, so our kids can participate in these kind of things. Special thanks to the Booster Club as well. They do the fundraising. Every dime comes right back to the school. They bought the uniform since, I believe, 2004, and very thankful for them. And know they put in some extra hours as well. I think there's a ballot out there. There's a few people with some seniors that have left, and some people on the ballot to vote for. So make sure you do that before you leave. The Board of Education probably doesn't get enough. I mean, they get a high-paying job. So when they sit in their room once a month and tell us what we can and can't do, they've always been supportive of our activities and athletics. And just want to take the time to thank them and Mr. Dorson for that. The softball girls will come up here. I'll talk a little bit. This is written by Sam. So when I say I guess I'm Sam. And so Mr. Gergen said she's home with a brand new future Bulldog softball player. And so she couldn't make it in today. You guys can come down here. That way I don't have to look at it, Mike. Anyway, so basically I'll try to get through this without losing my voice, but basically Mission last year allowed us to now in the season, you can, outside the season, let me get right. So they started at the first of the year that we could have 7 weeks, 3 hours a week, and work out. And with losing 6 seniors last year, Sam and I took advantage of that, having this relatively young team. Okay, we lost 6 starters from a quarterfinal run the year before. Definitely see the improvement by the time we got to just our normal summer. Most of the summer we play at Fayette, 3 games a day. This year we were lucky enough that our team was so young that Mr. Eads and Terry got us into the Boonville League, so they got a few more extra games. And I think that was huge for us going into August. We had some answers that we probably needed that we might not have gotten if they don't go through that. And so we kind of had an idea of what we needed to do and get the girls ready. This team ended up 13-12 and 4-3, which was 4th in the conference. If you know anything about our conference, it's really tough and competitive. We were 6th in the Boonville tournament. We start off every year. It's right across the river. It's 8 miles. Why are we playing that? Because when you leave that day, you know exactly where you're at. Okay, we play Kirksville, we play Mobley, we play Smith Cotton. So we play a lot of bigger schools, and so then it gives us 3 days to prepare for the conference because we always start off with Madison and Slate. So we got 6 there. We did go the first year to the California tournament. Kind of unique. They were supposed to have it in 2 different towns. 1 game on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, which is pretty cool. Due to the fact that small schools sometimes don't have the pitching to throw 3 in 1 day. So we got to go down on Friday night, play, We got down there early Saturday and won it, and then waited around all day to get rained out. So that was kind of fun. It was a good bonding trip. Sit on the hill and told dumb jokes and make each other laugh. So we also got sixth in the Franklin tournament. We knew this was a rebuilding year. Here's where Sam comes in. Like I said, I'll try not to edit any of this. We filled the positions as we figured. We tried a lot of our people in many different positions. They would remember any of the practices. Hey, you're going to try third today. Ooh, I don't know. But they did it. And it took us pretty much till Western game to figure out, that's the second to last game before district, to figure out where each one of these young ladies would fit in. But that was the main reason for that, trying to figure out where they're at. We had a lot of goals. And one of the main goals this year was to make sure that we learned something every day and not go backwards. From practice to game, and she says, that's what he said, believe that we did that. I think the biggest highlight was the theme practices at the end of the year. One day was Batman, I believe. One day was at the beach day, which we practiced in some unique uniforms. But as you can see, they're cackling and kind of took the pressure off at the end of the year at districts. And so that was a lot of fun. And she says here, not always do you remember the wins and losses, but they will always remember that week. And I when she brought it up here in the notes, I started laughing myself. She leads on to individual awards that Lily and Emerson received first team all conference and Sophia held second team. Lily and Emerson in Brooklyn received first team all district, and Sophia and Canada received second team all district. Lily Chitler received first team all region. This year, the academics all state team, which I've always been a big fan of. This is the main reason we come to school. But 3.3 and above GPA, the team average was a 3.75. This is one of the highest team GPAs in school history. Individuals that received the All-State above the 3.75. We had 11 that made that criteria. Natalie Wiseman, Sophia Held, Maddie Painter, Brooklyn Brown, Emerson Eads, Lily Chidwood, Chloe Chidwood, Anna Jennings, Skylar Shaw, Lauren Thompson, and Callie Chidwood. Here's the next thing after looking at the book. Like I said, there might be some edits in here or not. I don't know. But there was supposed to be, she wants to talk about the 3 seniors, and actually there was 4. The fourth one, highly talented. If you came out and watched our VP, she shagged ball for us, highly talented, but always conceded to just being a manager for us. And sorry to make you blush here, bro. But anyway, that might have been a Coach Dow add on there. But if you could saw the one day she took flights, it was quite entertaining. Then she goes on to thank quite a few people here. One, her husband and mom for getting her through the season. Obviously, you know that gone 3 or 4 nights a week and a young family. And now she has 2. But young family, she leaned on her husband and her mom to take care of Clay and do a lot of other things. She also thanks the administration, parents, and community for their support. There's a lot that goes behind the background, a lot of people don't realize, and we're very fortunate to support we do to make our season successful. It's really different for me not to be involved in softball, but it is always a big supporter of the softball team, and I appreciate everyone's help and support as the head coach. She leads on to say thank you to Mr. Dow and his help and experience. For some reason, she wrote in here, also thank her for all the fantasy football advice on the bus to and from. If she would have listened to that, she'd have won. She got 6th, so that's all her. So anyway, but she led on to that. And Mr. Dow and Ms. Crowley would like to pass the torch on to Mr. Nicholson. We're excited for him to take over the program. He is the 5th coach in 50 years, which is crazy to think about. But I know he has a young and talented bunch here, and they have a bright future. And so we wish him all the luck. And luckily he has our cell phone numbers, and you can call anytime to them. So anyway, other than that, here's the 2023 softball team.
We want to start by thanking Miss Crowley, even though she's at home today with her new baby, for her dedication to the team. She always supported us and encouraged us throughout our season and made playing fun. We also want to thank Coach Dow for his dedication. The success you have had throughout your softball career is impressive, and we are grateful to have learned from your coaching. Thank you both for enriching our softball experience and for being great coaches and role models. We also want to thank our team. You guys helped us make the last season fun and went along with our ideas, like the dress-up days for the last week of practice. Walking up to practice and seeing a whole bunch of girls dressed as Batman is pretty memorable. You guys helped us make memories that we will cherish forever. Good luck next year.
Okay, before I talk about last spring, this past fall, and this spring's baseball, just want to read a little something Sam shared with me about Mr. Dow. And this is her words, but I think, I was his assistant for how long? Long time. You say a long time. So, Mr. Dow's time here at New Franklin will have a lasting impact on Bulldog athletics. He has been a coach and a mentor to many athletes that have gone through the school. It will be a long time before you think of New Franklin softball without thinking of Mr. Dow. His time coaching softball started in 1997 as an assistant coach to Mr. Early, where he assisted in state championships in 2003. In 2004, he took the head coaching position and has had a countless number of athletes, some of who continued their careers in college, 7 conference championships, 6 district championships, and 4th in state in 2013. He ended his head coaching softball career with 300 wins. He handed over his head coaching to me, Sam, in 2022, where he acted as an assistant coach and received another district championship. There is no denying his love and passion for the game, and you can tell at every practice and game he wanted his athletes to share the same love for the game. He is one of the main reasons I became a coach. Thank you, Mr. Dow, for your time and dedication to not only the New Franklin softball team, but to New Franklin athletics. You have been a great mentor to many, including myself. Now go enjoy your time as a farmer in the solitude of your tractor. She also said to make sure you're available for that fantasy football advice, because she's got some, and she's going to be absent. So, and again, we put Coach Dow's accolades here on the board. I think, again, all of us up here at the table would have very many of the same sentiments that Sam just had and what she shared with me last night. So thanks again. We appreciate it, man. All right, so before we get this year's baseball team up here, let's talk about spring 2023 real quick. We finished with a record of 19-6, 5-1 in conference, which we shared a conference championship there with that record. Very, very good season with some memorable wins over Cairo and Pilot Grove. Some spring awards from last season. Clayton Wilmsmeyer was our conference MVP, which was, to me, a very big deal. I've been doing this a long time, and he's the first conference MVP we've ever had. I don't agree with that, but he is the first one that we've ever had, which is a big deal, and not a credit to him, but also to his teammates as well. Drew Rohr, Tanner Bishop, and Owen Armitrout are also all-conference. All-conference honorable mention, Connor Wilmsmeyer and Jake Marshall. All-district first team, Clayton Wilmsmeyer, Tanner Bishop, Drew Rohr, Connor Wilmsmeyer, and Owen Armitrout. These guys, again, had a fantastic season last spring and were able to put themselves into a position to compete for a district championship. We also had several academic all-staters from last spring as well. Kids who are in grades 10 through 12 are the only ones who are eligible. Your GPA after the fall semester must be a 3.5 or higher. You have to be in the top 25% of your class, or at least a 24 ACT. We ended up with a team GPA of 3.73, which was first overall in Class 2 last year, which was really impressive. So those individuals who earned academic All-State last spring: Clayton Wilsmeyer, Connor Wilsmeyer, Owen Armstrong, and Jake Marshall. So great job, guys, last spring. Fantastic season. Good work. So you guys who are playing this year, come on down. Okay, so last fall we finished with a record of 11-4. Again, overall, very good season, I thought, which got us very excited for this spring, which we still are. In the fall, it's really, really good. We get to see some guys in some different spots. Guys get some opportunities to play and showcase what they can do, and kind of see what we got for the spring. I'd say probably some of our most memorable games, at least from my perspective, were the Munson Prairie home game, where we were down late. Brandon Phillips came up with a clutch hit, and we were able to come back and win that game. Pretty cool. And then, of course, the Cairo. I don't know what to call that. We got our game delayed there at the Cairo because of lightning. We were hitting the heck out of the ball. We got delayed to the last game of the year, and we continued to hit the heck out of the ball against them. And Jersey Park went over to Greenhouse against them, so that's pretty good. Okay, it's always good to beat those guys. So those are probably two of my most memorable games up there from the fall. This spring, so far we are 11-6. We had an opening night win at Fed, where we were able to showcase some small ball a little bit, speed up the game on them. Had a good game against Glasgow, good redemption game against them. Great Saturday against Mid-Buck and Salisbury. Luke Snow shutout versus Community. And then a 6 home run, 21-run outburst at Paris. Our doubleheader on senior night was also a really good night for us as well. It was really fun and also exhausting at the same time. This spring, obviously it's had its challenges. These guys have done an outstanding job. I know we haven't won every game or looked, fantastic every game. These guys have done an outstanding job dealing with some adverse situations, dealing with having to play in some different spots and do different things for us, and kind of learning on the fly. And that's a testament to the character that these guys have, and to, just the will that they have, to do better, to improve, and to win, and to accomplish something together as a team. So, my hat's off to you guys with that. You guys have done a great job with that. I really like what this team can be. They remind me at times of some really good teams we've had in the past. We had 6 home runs in one game at Paris. We might have 6 1 hits. The next game we get somebody else. These guys, which is something we stress, we want to be good at different things and be able to adjust and adapt to different types of game situations. And these guys are really, really good at doing that. And those are the things you have to do in order to keep playing as long as you possibly can. Right? You have to be multidimensional. And these guys can do it if they prepare themselves the right way. So if we execute like we know how on both sides of the ball and find consistency in how we approach everything, this can be a really, really dangerous crew here going into next week and then beyond. So, and really looking forward to it. Thanks to the younger guys who put in a lot of work, but may not see a whole lot of varsity time right now. But you definitely will be as we head into the future. Thanks to all of our older guys who have put a lot of work in, not only with baseball, but with multiple sporting events and your academics and other extracurricular activities throughout the years. So our seniors here, let's talk about these guys here a little bit. All right, I'm gonna keep everybody up here with you because they're your teammates and you couldn't do this stuff without them. So I'm gonna just talk about a few of these guys here real quick. Tanner Bishop, we're standing right there, assistant AD number 1, right there. Tanner, I think almost every coach asked me before a game, like, when is this guy gonna graduate? I was like, well, I wish it wasn't this year, but unfortunately it is. So he's one of those guys who's been playing a long time, it feels like, for a lot of these opposing coaches, because he usually beats them. I know I have enjoyed your dry sense of humor. It's very funny. Your emotional steadiness on the field and in practice, which has led to you being sort of a model of consistency for us in our lineup and on the field. Very, very dependable. We know what we're going to get out of you. So really appreciate it. Everything you've done for us and this team, and we're going to miss it. Sawyer Felton over here standing next to Jake. Saw's done a great job of sticking with it these 4 years. He had a really rough fall last fall when he got injured, and you could just tell it killed him not to be able to get out there and play. We tried to find some spots where he could come in and help us a little bit, but it was best to just shut him down so he could be healthy for this spring, and he did a great job of dealing with that. That's not an easy thing to do. So, like Tanner, he's been very dependable, very steady for us. He's done a great job of kind of being the glue and helping the ship stay on course, so to speak. He's just been overall just a fantastic teammate. So, Saul's doing a great job. Jake, there on the far left. Jake is maybe the best defensive center fielder I've ever coached. And that's saying a lot because we've had a lot of good center fielders here at New Franklin. If there's one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on, is having a good one of those. So there are way too many web gyms, I think, to count. The one that really sticks out to me, and Tanner was pitching, it was against La Plata, what was it, your sophomore year, which essentially kept our lead intact. I think we won that game 5-4. The ball was down. We're behind. That one sticks out to me because that was just one of those plays that everybody goes, man, how did he get there? And he got there. And I think Tanner might miss Jake. Right? Tanner, have you ever not had Jake as a center fielder? Huh? Yeah. So, I'd miss a center fielder like that too. So, moving on here, Luke Paulson, right in front of me right here. Luke's only been here just 1 year with us, unfortunately, but we're glad he could join us this year. He's definitely left an impression, right? Definitely going to remember, and I think Coach Nicholson would agree with this, the uniqueness of your warm-up routines and your band work and how intense you are about needing to get that in. You remind me a lot of the guys I've played college ball with in their preparation and how unique they can be. There's one thing, you're definitely a pitcher in that regard. And then, maybe one day, hopefully soon, you'll hit that second home run. Right. Drew Rohr, right over here, next to Luke. To say that I was excited when Drew moved here is an understatement. Drew's baseball IQ and know-how are things that no coach should ever take for granted. He's done a great job of helping out our younger catchers, and I'm definitely excited to see him catch at the next level. Being a catcher myself, it's really, really cool to see how he manages a game and see how he kind of takes care of our pitchers at times, or maybe gives them a little kick or a little encouragement depending on what they need. He's like another assistant coach on the field, as are a lot of these older guys, and all of them for that matter. Your sense of humor is something that is unparalleled on the baseball field. Very unpredictable. I come to practice going, what's he going to say today? I don't know. So, I'll never forget your go-ahead home run against Pilot Grove last spring, and the home run there, against Cairo in the fall. But most of all, I think just how you go about your business and your attitude and how you enjoy the game of baseball. And I know my son's going to miss you too. So, he's a lot like you. Man. All right. Hey, last but not least, Connor. Connor's passion and energy, you watch Connor play, he plays like his hair is on fire. And it's awesome to see. Connor has some of the best set of hands you'll ever see. He first base, third base, picking balls. It's great. He's done a great job of taking on new roles this spring. Right? Played first, that's his natural position. Played third for us, going to play short more. He's caught for us, got more innings on the mound for us. He's done a lot. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and he's done it well. I'm going to miss Connor's fall he had 2 years ago. Man, he hit the cover off the ball. Hit over 500, and just every time he's at the plate, it's like, man, this is going to be a hit. Just how hard is it going to be? I think I'm going to miss your batting practice rounds the most, right? And seeing how many different balls we can find in the parking lot. And the amount of food that you can put away is impressive. And in the amount of time, and how quick you can get to Casey's and back here and eat all of that before the bus even starts. So it is something to behold. So all in all, I love these guys. These guys are my baseball family. I love them to death. And I'm looking forward to these last couple of weeks. Hopefully we can play as long as we possibly can because I don't want to end. All right. So, and thanks to Coach Nicholson. He does an awesome job. He's got some good jokes for me, which is much needed. And I'd like to thank my wife, Emily, can't be here because she's at another baseball game. And my son and daughter. So, thank you very much. It takes a village to do this. And these guys up here are wonderful, as are all the people who support them. Thank you much. Appreciate it.
This sounds bad, Tanner wrote it. So. On behalf of the entire baseball team, especially the seniors, we'd like to thank Coach Dirk for his countless hours spent preparing us to be great baseball players and to be great young men. Being a coach isn't an easy task, and it takes a lot of time away from you that you can spend with your family. Coach Dirk never complains and always comes to practices and games focused on how we can get better that day. Coach Dirk has been a positive influence on all of us. Asking for our best efforts all the time. It's been an amazing ride and a great experience playing for you, Coach. Thank you for all that you've done for us, but this train is not stopping yet. Let's go Dogs!
All right, here we go. I'd like to start off by thanking my two assistants over here, Coach Mailer and Coach Nicholson. Both guys really brought a lot to the program. I feel like hopefully they've learned something from me, and I certainly learned a little bit from both of those guys as well. Mr. Gertie deserves some thanks. We played a very, very full JV schedule, which we will certainly lean on next year with the amount of seniors that we have. I'd like to thank all my managers, Cooper Magruder, Brandon Phillips, Peyton Eaton, and Jonah Bishop. They were all at the practices and games here and there. Peyton and Brandon like to skip out more than the other two probably, but that's just their personalities. A special thanks goes to Cooper Magruder. I've never had a manager quite like him. you watch him, he takes the job very, very seriously, and it really takes a lot of weight off my shoulders. And it's impressive to watch. He's very, very serious about what he does. And the season is long, and he made it go much smoother. I think the easiest place to start with this season is probably at the end. That way I don't get emotional at the end, probably. We're playing Salisbury Districts at Glasgow, and we're down 5 with 3 minutes to go, and I still felt like we had a chance to win. Coaching this team, you always feel like you have a chance to win, even when you're not playing well. After losing that game, we get in the locker room, and I couldn't get much out. I just told the seniors that they were special. There were a lot of tears and hugs in the locker room that night. And 2 years in a row, we lost to the Salisbury team. We haven't made it to the Final Four both years. We had a very successful year going 25-4, but the way we finished both years always hurt, I think, to me. But there were a lot of highlights from the year. If you came to watch this team, I think you know that. Coming into the year, every year as a coach, you're really, really nervous. And you want the kids to perform well. Even in junior high, before our first game, I'm always really nervous about how we'll play. And this year, I really felt that way because we were playing Brunswick, a team that was tied with us at half the year before. They're a talented group of athletes at Brunswick, but they're really a year behind us. They were all juniors, and most of our kids were seniors. And it really showed in this game. We pressed them really hard, and we were up by 30 at the end of the third quarter. Tanner Bishop started the year off hot. He had 6 threes in that game, and it was clear that we were going to be really good. We go to Salisbury the next game, and we lost to close to 54-52. And that game showed us some weaknesses in our defense. Some of our rotations were poor, and that we really had to shoot and rebound well in order to beat them. They were really good again. We go to Glasgow tournament the next week, and we come away with the championship. We beat Marceline, we beat Western, we beat Harrisburg in a heck of a game. It was a physical battle, like it always is when you play Harrisburg, and it really kind of looked more like a track meet than it did a basketball game. Connor took 3 charges against their best player, which really helped turn the tide in that game. And Drake led us to 27. He was clearly the best player on the floor. But I think that game was a glimpse of what this team could do when we really played well. We won the next 3 games, and we played Harrisburg again here in a non-conference game at home right before Christmas. We knew it was going to be a battle based on the first contest, and it was. That game, Riley Huntley played really well. He had 19, hit 3 or 4 threes, I believe, and had some hustle plays. And that was another big win for us going into the break, because Harrisburg did not want to lose that game. They were tough. They were a tough team and even dirty. Some people would probably call Harrisburg dirty. I think that's fair to say. Coming out of Christmas was the New Franklin tournament. And I really felt like we were focused and we were ready to play. And we really wanted to win the tournament in back-to-back years, because that was fun the year before. We beat Fayette, and then we played Sturgeon in the second round. Sturgeon wasn't great, but we had worked on trapping ball screens and doing something different than what we had done before. And I really thought the kids executed it well. Sawyer Felton had one of his best games. He really trapped the ball well and really hedged the screens like we had asked him to do, and it turned into points for our team. And I came away from that game impressed with how well we adjusted our defense and how well the kids listened and really executed the game plan. We played Western that Saturday in the championship, and it was clear that we wanted to win. We had a shoot around that morning. We were ready to go, but it just wasn't meant to be. There were a lot of stats that we look at after a game. You know, you look at the same 4 or 5 stats every game. And if you look at any of those stats, besides shooting percentage, you would have thought we won that game. We shot it so poorly that it was almost laughable. Just shots that we shouldn't miss and shots that we were good enough to make. We lost 55-50. Then we were in the game until the end. We just couldn't make anything. Bounce back after that. We hosted Glasgow in our next game at home. And Glasgow was really, really good this year. They had the best pure scorer in the area, Jordan Findler. This game was tight the entire way. It came down to just the last couple of plays late. Caden Slutshire played one of his best games of the year, scoring 8, but more importantly, doing a great job of guarding Jordan Findler late in the game. His late game block was one of the plays I remember from the season that kept us undefeated in the conference. The last tournament of the year was played in Sturgeon, and we beat Paris in the first round, and we met Western for the 3rd time. And we played exceptionally well. It's one of those games where defensively we played really, really well in the end. We won by 22, but more importantly, we held them to 32, which I thought was really, really impressive in the way that we guarded them. We played Salisbury again in the championship and lost by 11. We started the game off really, really well, but in the second half, there was probably a 5 or 6 minute stretch there where we just didn't score. As with any loss, we learned about ourselves and we understood that we had to take care of the ball a little better. We threw it away a lot to those traps in that 5 or 6 minutes. One of the most exciting games of the year came off of that championship, and that was the Tuesday here against Boonville. If you weren't here, you should have been. It was one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever been a part of. It was really fun. I'm looking forward to that game next year too. Both communities, I think, really look forward to it. There were a lot of people that talked about it, in the weeks coming up to it. I don't think the game was terribly well played. If you talk to either of the coaches, neither team played that well. But I think both teams left everything on the floor. The game meant a lot to both sides. We came away winning in overtime 55-53, and that's one that I think these guys will always remember. Drew Rohr played his best game probably that day, playing against the Bigs of Boonville. I don't know how many pounds he was giving up to Braylon, but it was a lot. But his late game blocks were pretty fun to watch. Fouls, if you ask some of the blocks to me. And Jake Marshall hit 3 big threes in that game that really were big momentum plays that made a big difference. We beat Cairo on homecoming night by 15, which was another big win for us because they were playing pretty well at the time. And then we scheduled a back-to-back the next day at Harrisburg in the Mid-Missouri Invitational. And we played against Schuyler County, who was ranked in Class 2 at the time. And they were really, really difficult for us to guard. It was weird playing the night after homecoming. It wasn't until 5:30, but you could tell that the kids were kind of tired, But we showed a lot of grit and toughness by winning that game on a neutral floor the night after homecoming. We won the next 3 games to win the conference championship, but we still had a Thursday night trip to Glasgow, the last game of the season, to finish the conference undefeated. I'm sure these guys remember the year before. I'm sure Clayton remembers. They beat us on our floor to keep us from going undefeated last year. So I know I thought about that a lot leading up to the game. But we won another good game by 2 to go undefeated in the conference, which is not something that happens very often. The next morning, we won 81-79, and Coach Croft texted me the next morning. He said, did we both play terrible defense, or was that just good offense? And we both agreed that both teams just executed really well. We both played well, and they're just hard to guard. So we hit the districts. We beat Fayette, and we beat Glasgow for a 3rd time on their home floor, which was not a tough game. But it set up our 3rd matchup at Salisbury, which brings us back to the beginning of the story in the locker room. So boys, if you all would all come up, that'd be great. Coach Nicholson can pass out as long as he can figure out the alphabetical order. All right. I won't read all your names. I'm sure we're all familiar with these guys. So stepping away from the season, looking at a 25-4 record, we placed 1st in one of our tournaments and 2nd in the other 3. I truly think our biggest accomplishments this year were probably going undefeated in conference. And then Coach Gertie did a good job of scheduling us games. We scheduled Harrisburg, Boonville, Schuyler County. All 3 were good teams. And we beat them all. And they all had really good seasons. And it was all within, maybe 2.5 weeks there, all on the road. Just a lot of tough games. And these guys really worked together and pulled them all out. If you look up here at what we're losing, there's a lot of seniors. And I think there's a lot of people that think next year we won't be as good. We may not be as good, but I really believe in the guys that we do have. Our JV team went 15-1 this year, and we won the South Callaway JV tournament, so we have a lot to work with. But we have a lot of work to do at the same time. So these seniors went 24-4 as juniors, and then they went 25-4 as seniors. So you can see that they've certainly left their mark on the program. 49-8 is an 86% winning percentage, which is nothing to shake your head at, even if we didn't advance as far as we wanted to and as far as we thought we could. So I think these seniors, all of them will certainly be missed for what they've done on the floor, to be frank. All right, thank you, guys.
I was told about this, but I had to give a speech on Thursday, and I was pretty nervous, and I had a lot of people told me that I should make a speech, but anyone here that really knows me, I'm more just like a wing kind of guy. So that being said, here we go. First, I want to give you showing up every night, just really pulling our team together, doing a lot for us. So shout out to them, the managers, doing a lot for us, showing up every day. Didn't sweep the floor like I asked them to do a lot, but yeah, and then a huge shout out to us. I mean, this man, he showed up. He did so much for us. And being coached by us, it was more building character than coaching basketball. He did so much more than just teaching us how to run plays and how to play defense and stuff. It really taught us how to grow up and be men. And I think a lot of people really overlook that. Like me personally, he completely changed me. I used to be quite a hard-headed kid. He really made me mature and grow up. And I can never thank him enough for that. Another thing is he showed up our sophomore year and he changed the way we play basketball. We had run the same play since third grade, and he showed up and put us in a motion offense. He really let us play to our strengths, and a huge thanks for that. I don't think it could have been near as good without him changing our offense and stuff. So yeah, huge thanks to us.
And I have something that I would like to give to Drake because we did not get to do this during the season. So I would like to present Drake with his 1,000-point plaque, which he achieved on February 13th.
All right, well, good afternoon to everybody here. I know a lot of you know me at this point. Now, but I feel like the new guy up here a little bit. I'm either Coach Gross, Mr. Gross, Mr. G, Courtney Wilmsmeyer's husband. Sometimes a lot of conversations throughout the course of this year as I've had my first experiences here in New Franklin. I found that a lot of times the latter of those was actually easier for people to figure out how I ended up here coaching girls basketball and teaching. First of all, I want to thank a few people before I get into kind of the season overview and talk about some things with the girls a little bit. Really want to thank the admin group for the opportunity to coach and teach here. It was right around a year ago now that Courtney and I decided to make the move back to her home area here in central Missouri. And we had a lot of unanswered questions when we actually made the decision to move. Some simple things like, where are we going to live? Being one of those questions that we didn't know the answer to yet. But in conversations with her family, with Mr. Dow, Mr. Dorson, and some of the people here on staff, was really just told multiple times, this is a great place to teach, a great place to coach, and my experiences this year have really just firmly validated that. And I'm super appreciative of the group of people that I've had the opportunity to be around this year. I want to thank Coach Freeze and Coach Mailer for helping me out a lot this year. From the first phone call that I had with Coach Freeze at the end of last school year when we were trying to figure everything out in that transition process, she's been an awesome help for me, awesome influence for the girls on a daily basis, and truly been extremely helpful. Coach Mailer had one of the toughest tasks that I felt like throughout our season, helping out both the boys and girls program. It's really tough to bounce back and forth on a day-to-day basis, helping the girls and guys out with the highs and lows and everything that goes with both of those seasons. But I appreciate the help that we got from him tremendously. I want to thank the players. Did an awesome job throughout the course of this year. I think with some of the things that we focused on, and I'll talk about a little bit of that here in a minute. Had an awesome group of 4 managers, 2 seniors, 2 8th graders that did a great job, and it really made my life tremendously easier on a daily basis. When I asked a lot of them, and constantly they were willing to step up to the plate with the things I was asking them to do for us. Also want to thank all the parents, family members involved with everything that happens with athletics. The world of athletics continues to go round because of the family support that athletes and coaches get. So thank you for everything that you do throughout the season to help the girls out, to help us out. I appreciate it tremendously. And I do need to thank my wife and family who put up with a lot of my time at home being spent watching film and game planning. And sometimes I will walk into the house when I get home after a game, and I will get a comment from one of them about, well, why'd you do that? When it comes to one of the plays or defenses that we called out. Those of you that know Courtney or Donnie or Kathy, you know that they mean well, but they want to help out with some of these things. And this was one of the first seasons in a while. I didn't get notifications on my watch from my wife in the middle of the game, like, hey, think about this. So that being said, girls, why don't we come on out here and we can talk about the season a little bit. We finished with a season record this year of 11-16 after closing our season in the first game of districts against Harrisburg. Finished with a conference record of 4-6. We did finish third in the Glasgow tournament early on in the year, which I felt very successful about for the girls as we were figuring out how to play basketball a little bit with really a pretty young group here. We did have 2 players I want to mention briefly here that had postseason accolades. Skylar Shaw was named CAC All-Conference Honorable Mention, and Lily Chitwood was CAC All-Conference. She was Central Media All-District Team. She was a Crest All-Star, and she made the All-District Team as well. But this was the first group of students or student athletes that I had the opportunity to be around in my transition from Illinois down here to Missouri, and that started off in June. When my school year ended in the first week of June last year. I was able to get down there, and we had a really quick summer, but from that point on, we really had kind of a roller coaster of a season. Like I said, a young group, no seniors other than the managers, and I didn't really know what to expect from the season. I'm not sure if the girls knew what to expect either, but we had 3 quick weeks of summer basketball where we found out really quickly, and we're really honest about the fact that we weren't going to be bigger than most teams, we weren't going to be faster than most teams, we weren't going to be more experienced than most teams that we were going to play, and so we knew that we had some big challenges in front of us. And I feel like from the get-go, we wanted to meet that challenge as well as possible, and I think we did that for the most part. So when our season got started there in November, we had a few tough weeks of practice and then get to our first game against Brunswick. And like Coach S, I'm nervous going into it. I don't really know what to expect. I know what I've seen on film from Brunswick. I know what I've seen from our girls at practice, but you never really know until the ball gets tipped and you actually play. And as far as first games of the year go, one of the really positive memories that I've had in the 8-9 years that I've been coaching basketball in terms of how we came out to play. It was before that game that I told them about the team motto that Coach Freeze and I had kind of decided upon for the year, which was own your effort. Because we weren't going to be bigger or faster or more experienced, we kind of asked the question, what can we control? And we felt like we can control our efforts on a daily basis at practicing in games, and whatever outcome that leads to, that's all right. And so I told them about that in the locker room before the Brunswick game, and there were a lot of heads nodding. I was like, okay, I like that. And I thought we went out and did that on night 1. It was our highest shooting percentage night of the year, which I don't feel like is normal for a basketball group at the start of the season. That's not to say that it was all downhill from there, but it was just an impressive shooting performance. It was an impressive first performance for a group that really didn't have a lot of varsity basketball experience. And so then we go from there into the early part of the season. Like I said, Glasgow tournament, we finished third in, and that's a super competitive tournament where we go into game 1, and I don't know how they were feeling about the game, but I was extremely nervous about this game as well. And Coach Betts and I had a conversation before the game, the head coach. He kind of told me about everything that he'd seen on film of our team. in the 2 games we'd already played, and he broke down how our defense worked for me and a couple of different things. I was like, okay. And he explained it wrong, so I just kind of went along with it. And we proceeded to win a game that I don't think he was prepared to play the way that we did. Won that game 54-49, and vividly remember seeing my father fist pump in the crowd. I believe Brooklyn maybe made a free throw towards the end of the game to extend the lead a little bit. And kind of clinch that for us. And that was an awesome win. A lot of the girls pointed to that game as one of their best memories from the year. And it was an awesome atmosphere. And then to follow that up, we had probably the most intense 6-seed versus 7-seed game in a high school tournament I can remember being played. May have been a questionable call towards the end of that game that had everybody fired up a little bit. I ended up with a basketball under my arm and felt like I probably should punch it across the gym, but I didn't. And we still had a chance to go win that game and came up short. It would have been nice for that last minute of the game to play a little bit differently. But you can't take things like that back. From there, I felt like we had started the season as really a pretty strong group, despite the inexperience. And we battled a lot of adversity throughout the middle and latter parts of the season. We played 16 out of our 27 games missing at least one player, and some games missing multiple players. Some games where we weren't missing people, we had people that were battling illness, trying to fight through it because they wanted to be out there competing. And in that time frame, we played 16 games of single-digit margins. And in those games, we scored an average of 46 points and gave up an average of 47 points. And what that kind of told me was we're right there competing in a lot of these games, and we came out on the wrong end of a handful of those where just a little thing here or there was the difference. And that was a big learning experience for a lot of us, I think. Thinking about some of those moments of adversity, I don't know about everybody else, but it will rattle around in my head forever. The basketball hanging on the rim, that community, double overtime game, felt like the basketball when they took that shot up to tie the game, sat on the rim for about 5 seconds in my mind, and then fell through. But that game and several others were just big learning moments, I thought, in a season where I think we did what I and Coach Freeze and Coach Mailer asked them to do. I think we did own our effort on a day in and day out basis, and just kind of kept battling. It's a group that I'm really looking forward to seeing how we grow over the course of our summer and into next season. We are losing 2 seniors that, despite the fact they got 0 minutes on the floor this year as managers, were a big influence. On a daily basis, my life was tremendously easier because I would walk down after classes and get ready to go for one of our away trips, and I'd say, Brooke, Maddie, hey, do we need this or that? No, I already got it taken care of. They came to be called our team mom and our team dad. I'm truly going to miss you guys. It was tremendously awesome to have you guys help me out this year. It made my transition as a coach here a lot easier. Overall, it's a team that I'm incredibly proud of. I'm excited for what the future holds, and can't wait to get back in the gym again.
So Maddie and I have been managing basketball for a total of 5 years, 5 years with Coach Freeze and then 1 year with both Coach Gross and Coach Mangler. All 3 coaches have been amazing to have a part of our team. Brooke and I decided to manage 5 years ago because we wanted to be a part of the team, but like many of you probably know, we were 2 of the most untalented and uncoordinated basketball players ever. Over the years with Coach Freeze and this past season with Coach Gross and Mailer, Brooke and I have laughed and grumbled and had many great times, and we want to thank them for everything they have done. Coach Freeze was always someone we could go to if we wanted to laugh and gossip with a little bit. She was like a second mother to us, and some days we spent more time with her than with our real moms. Coach Gross has been a remarkable head coach and made sure that Maddie and I constantly felt appreciated and encouraged. We're sad we only got to spend 1 year with you. He uplifts us and the girls on his team every chance he gets. And Coach Mailer, who is basically another manager, was always someone was always someone that we could mess with and make fun of, but all out of love. I promise we will miss your 4 outfit choices and girly coffee. I know you guys think you're lucky that you're only losing managers instead of players, but I promise when you have to walk up the hill at Glasgow in the snow, only to realize that Jason locked the bus, you will miss us. You're welcome for being the best managers. Good luck on your next season, and remember, Mom and Dad will always be cheering you on, just from 4 hours away this time.
I threw one clipboard.
Okay, before I do cross country for Miss Allgood, seeing Brooke and Natalie up here reminded me I forgot to thank our baseball managers. So I would like to thank Sophia, right there you go. Sophia Hill, Lucy Mateo, and Maya Dobson. So you guys do an awesome job for us, and you guys save a lot of headaches and a lot of time before and after games for us. And you might be the only ones who get this, but you guys are real game changers. Okay, so let's do some high school cross country. So if Xander Magruder, Cooper Magruder, Jackson Sebrandt, and Stella Mattis would come on down. Okay, so I'm going to read just a little bit here that Ms. Allgood sent me, and probably throw in my own stuff here. But she said here, our season had a lot of ups and downs, which seems to be the theme in cross country. It's not a sport for the weak by any means. Thank you all for pushing through injuries and never getting down when your times weren't the best. You all know times don't always reflect your work. I'm looking forward to working with you all again next year. So one of the first meets here, the Marshall Invite, Jackson Sebrandt got 5th in the JV race, and then Xander placed 12th in varsity, and Stella placed 9th in the varsity there on the female side. At Boonville, Stella finished 18th out of 73, and then at North Callaway, Stella finished 13 out of 35, and at Salisbury, 16 out of 52. Xander's personal record, do you remember Xander? Oh, it's 22 minutes, 7 seconds. Cooper's PB was 23:04, Stella's was 23:44, and Jackson's was 25:30. So, as a former runner myself, before kid number 3, I can attest to the fact that how difficult it is and how grueling it can be at times. Their season runs all the way till practices start in the fall, till late October. So they're at it for a long time. They put in a lot of work and literally a lot of miles, and we should all be very, very proud of their efforts. All 4 of these individuals were also academic all-staters as well, which is very impressive, and congratulations to all 4 of you. So that's our high school cross country. Next up is Mr. Quest. Okay, I know we're getting on here, so I'll try to make this brief. First, I would like to thank Coach Chitwood for all of her help this year. As many of you may know, she is a former physical therapist, so I can't tell you how great it is to have someone like that on at practice every day. So when anybody, hey, what do I do to stretch this? Well, go ask her. So that's really great to be able to have that at practice. I also wanted to thank the parents for coming out on all sorts of different weather conditions and dealing with my short notice on practice changes and stuff sometimes. Similar to baseball, our season doesn't end until after we meet here, so I want to spend just a second talking about what we accomplished last year after we met. We had 13 events at districts that qualified as all districts, and of those, we had 3 district champions. One of them was Drake Clark in the 200 meters. Landon Shaw, who was just a freshman then, was district champion in the triple jump, and we had a boys 4x200 meter relay team that also finished as district champions. We had 5 events that made it to the state meet last year. Emma Rice finished 10th in the state in high jump. Lily Chipwood finished 11th in the long jump. Jake Marshall finished 15th in the 200, and that boys relay team finished 15th as well. So we had some good finishes last year as well. So this year we had a very young team, especially on the girls' side. Literally every single one of them is a freshman or a sophomore. And so I wasn't going to talk about this, but somebody reminded me over there. We did have a team saying this year that I talked about literally on the first day of practice. And I actually got this from Mr. Groth at the beginning of the year, and I think it is some sort of a military thing. But the saying this year was "embrace the suck," and not that I want anyone. Don't take that the wrong way. I don't want everyone to embrace mediocrity or being bad, but rather, when times are tough, out in the rain practicing, out in the cold practicing, when you're tired and you just feel like you can't go anymore, embrace the suck, right? Embrace it, try to move on, and use that to get better. And so I will say, some people did very well with embracing it this year. Others, maybe we could have embraced it a little more, but overall, we've had a really good season. We're bringing home medals at every meet. Everybody's working hard to get better every day, and unfortunately, we've had a few injuries that have meant the end of the season for a couple of people, but I know that will bring them back even stronger next year. We had our CAC meet last week. Overall, the boys finished in 3rd place. Just a few points behind 2nd place, so they did really well. The girls finished 6th. Individually, Drake brought home 4 medals. Stella, Landon Shaw, and Maddox Thornton each brought home 2 medals apiece. We had conference championships from Rowan Limburger in the high jump, Maddox Thornton in the shot put, and Landon Shaw in the triple jump, and other people who brought home medals at the meet and thus qualified as all conference were Kinsley Keaton, Anna Jennings, Lily Coolin, Xander Magruder, Jake Marshall, and Kate Schlotzauer. And I don't know why I didn't bring you guys up here before, but I guess I'm up here. I didn't think to do that. My fault. So this is your 2024 track team. I guess Mr. Gertie will finish handing out the medals. I would like, when they're finished, I would like the seniors to stay up here for a second. Okay, so that is your track team. Thank you, everybody. So we have 3 seniors on the team this year. All 3 of them have been on the team all 4 years in high school. So I want to start with talking about Dylan. I don't think you will find anybody more committed to track than Dylan is. So much so that he made his parents go out and buy him his own javelin this year for Christmas, I think. And, you know, it's not uncommon for kids to buy other things for track, but I've never seen anybody buy a javelin before, and I think he drives around with it in his car all day, so he's driving around with a deadly weapon in his car, I think. But usually Dylan's events are over pretty early in the meet, but Dylan usually stays around, even though he could go home with his parents a lot of the times. He still, you know, stays around to support the team and cheer everybody else on. And Dylan, it's going to be really hard to replace your positive attitude this year, so thank you very much for everything you've done. The second one is Jake Marshall, and unfortunately we've always only had Jake on a part-time basis because he's always playing baseball and kind of just shows up to a few track meets here and there, but you know, despite not getting to practice literally ever through his natural athleticism, he has helped us greatly whenever he is there. He's been a really big part of several relay teams, and he even made it to state last year in one of his individual events. Again, literally never getting to practice track, so he just shows up and makes it to state. So I think that just shows how gifted of an athlete he is. And I know baseball is always going to be first for you, Jake, but I hope you can look back on everything you accomplished in track and take some pride in that as well. So Drake is the third, and as you know, Drake has a ton of athleticism, scored 1,000 points in basketball. You know, he has a lot of speed, a lot of strength, but as some of you may also know, on the flip side of that, Drake is perhaps the most inflexible person that I have ever seen. I'm not sure that his muscles stretch at all, which makes it even more impressive that he can do the things that he does on the basketball court and on the track. And as I mentioned earlier, Coach Chitwood used to be a physical therapist, and I think Drake owes her at least a few of the medals that he has won for stretching him out before each event and making sure he's ready to go. So, you know, Drake is such a good athlete that it's kind of hard to decide what to put him in. In a lot of cases, he could be in 6 or 7 events and do well. So, you know, it's definitely a good problem to have, but definitely his athletic contributions to the team will definitely be missed as well. So, thank you, all 3 of you, for your dedication these past 4 years, and good luck in the future.
Sorry, question on the mic off. All right. So on the behalf of the track team and us 3 seniors, we would like to thank Mr. Quest and Ms. Chitwood for their guidance, patience, and pushing us to excel, especially with Quest's Embrace the Suck speech at the beginning of the season, which pushed us to do better at meets where the weather wasn't on our side. Your dedication to our growth, both on the track and as individuals, has made a lasting impact, and we've not only become better athletes, but better people. Thank you, brethren.
All right, can I have the dance team join me up here? Make sure you spread out. I know there's a lot of you. Okay, so they say that big things come in small packages. So this year's dance team definitely lived up to that with six members as well as a manager this year. Even though they were the smallest team we've had since the start of dance, they were still one of the best teams to coach. Since each year is tough planning out our season around basketball and cheer practices and away games and tournaments, we decided to try to get started about a month early. While the thought was a good idea, we quickly found out that it was easier said than done, because I don't think that there was one practice during October that everybody was actually at the practice. We have so many talented athletes here in New Franklin, so that means, of course, they are participating in other sports and other activities, meaning further commitments to work around to be able to get all practices in. These ladies were still able to pull off 2 performances before Christmas break again this year. After we returned from Christmas break, they started working on another dance, but Mother Nature had her say again this year, so we had some snow days that took away some practice time, as well as makeup games that also did the same. So as a team, they decided that since homecoming and senior night were only a week apart in February, and we don't always have a senior on the team every year, they would redo a dance from last year for homecoming. That way we can work hard on the senior night performance, bounce back for our one senior, Gracie. These girls always amaze me. When there are obstacles in their way, they always figure out a way to overcome it as a team. Especially Gracelyn, who on the day of our first performance this year, when we found out we were down to dance at the last minute, had to change a lot of what she'd already learned. Literally within a handful of hours before performing, she was able to learn different dance moves and ended up performing beautifully. And Hannah, I still have yet to figure out how you have made it through every performance that we've had without falling on the floor. Because I do not think that there has been one practice in the last 2 seasons that there has been one day that she's not been on the floor at least once. This year, we had a team manager for the first time, Bailey Bonecutter. I've had people ask me in the past, if it could be a manager, and I didn't know what I would have a manager really do. But now I wish I would have had one sooner, because she's been my right hand. I'm able to be more hands-on during practices while she runs some music and videos for me. And she's an extra set of eyes during practices, which gives the team valuable input as needed. She also helps keep track of my keys and my phone. So when we have a senior on the team, I like to let them decide what they would like to do for senior night. So Gracie decided that she wanted to redo a dance from her freshman year, and she was so excited to help the team learn it. Watching the video from the performance and bounce back from her freshman year, and then watching them perform it this year for senior night was like night and day difference. She was so quiet and stiff when she first started dancing her freshman year, but her confidence has blossomed over the years, and she has become quite the force and leader on the dance team. Each year you have surprised me more and more, and I am so proud of how far you have come, and you will do great things in your future. You will definitely be missed. So thank you to the ladies on the dance team for making it another successful season, and I can't wait to see what next year brings.
I was the only senior on the dance team this year, which meant I was able to help lead the team with Coach Wells. She came to me with some very difficult decisions before talking with the team. I also got the chance to help pick out our next dance, which was always a fun and exciting time. Being the only senior, I had the opportunity to help the girls in difficult parts of our dances. Our practices were filled with laughs, frustration, and much hard work. Us dancers worked hard to pull off 4 dances this season. Our first dance was during our first home game of the season. We performed Salute by Little Mix, and we had very many good comments after the dance. This dance was not easy, but we practiced hard, and we were able to perform this dance well. Our next dance was Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande for our Christmas performance. This dance was so much fun to perform, especially because we got to dance in our pajamas. We had a lot of fun with this dance. Our next performance was our homecoming dance, Worth It by Fifth Harmony. This dance was also super fun to perform. Our last performance was senior night, when we performed Bounce Back by Little Mix. This was definitely my favorite performance out of all of them this year, especially because I had able to perform the dance before. I was able to help the girls in difficult parts of the dance and show them if they couldn't get a move right. I want to say a few thank yous. First, I want to say thank you to Coach Wells. Thank you for all the time and energy you put into this dance team. Thank you for being patient with all of us girls when things got frustrating. You always knew how to get us back on track during practice. Thank you for allowing us to have our 30-minute ranting sessions and snacks before practice began, even if it did take up 30 minutes of our practice. Thank you for always believing in me, especially in the beginning of my freshman season when I wasn't the most confident. Thank you for being such an amazing coach to me these past 4 years. My next thank you is to the dance team. I will forever be proud of the 5 of you who stuck with dance this year after all the drama and people dropping out of dance like flies. You five have been such an amazing team to dance with. You were always willing to learn a new dance, even if it was difficult to learn. I am so proud of you five and how quickly you were all able to learn 2 dances in such a short period of time. Thank you for all the laughs you guys brought to practice. Thank you guys for the time and effort you guys put into all of our dances. I will miss you five dearly, and I cannot wait to see what dances you all perform next season. I, however, will not miss Hannah and Tiffany, and a few times successfully, smacking and hitting me during practices and getting my attention. To Bailey, thank you for being such a great manager. You have always had some great snacks you were willing to share with us. I will never forget you trying to learn the dances alongside us dancers. Lastly, thank you to everyone who supported us this season. I will never forget the applause and uproar after a dance or people cheering us on when we performed. Nothing makes being a dancer more fun than the support of the crowd while you performed. Once a Bulldog dancer, always a Bulldog dancer. I will miss you guys dearly. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to stand here today as we celebrate the accomplishments of our cheerleading team this season. As their coach, I've had the privilege of witnessing their dedication, hard work, and growth throughout this season. Girls, if you'll come on up, I'm excited to show you all one last time this year. I think the girls would agree with me when I say that this season was about laying strong foundations, building meaningful relationships, and pushing ourselves to try new and more challenging skills. Like all sports, it's really important to, when you're trying new things, keep going after failure. The difference between cheerleading and other sports is failure often comes with a high school-sized girl falling on your head out of 10 feet in the air. That makes it a little hard to want to keep going sometimes, and they always did. I think that the skills that we were showcasing by the end of the season really showcased their grit and determination. I want to thank the girls for working so hard all season with open hearts and minds and always being willing to try new things. What stood out to me most this year was the team's unwavering dedication to taking on difficult tasks. Whether it was mastering a new stunt or perfecting a routine, they continued to show grit and determination. One of the highlights of our season was cheering on the basketball teams. It was a season filled with excitement, entertainment, and nail-biting moments. But what truly amazed me was how these girls really immersed themselves in the games like never before. As a high school enthusiast myself, it was so fun to watch them get into games and just get excited alongside the crowd and the basketball teams. In addition to our game day performances, we had some remarkable moments this season. We hosted a Christmas-themed mini cheer camp that brought joy and laughter not only to our team, but to the younger cheerleaders in our community. Seeing our girls take on the leadership roles and inspiring others is always heartwarming, and I think fun for my girls and the little girls as well. Furthermore, our team stepped up this year and performed 2 knockout competition-style routines. We performed the same routine twice, once at the pep rally and once at the homecoming routine. Not only did they shine in both of these routines, but I think it really showed our talent in coming together as a cohesive unit and shining under pressure. None of this would have been possible without the support from our school community, parents, and of course, all of the other talented athletes. Your unwavering support and belief in our team have been a driving force behind our achievements this season. As we reflect on the past months, I don't want to just celebrate the wins and successes, but also the hard work that goes into those wins. There are some really hard days being a student athlete, and you all show grace and determination to continue building character and just getting better as individuals as well as athletes. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and celebrating our accomplishments with us. So here's to a fantastic season and many more memories yet to come. Girls, hang out for 1 second. I have one more award to give. I get to present the Kinter Wyatt Cheerleading Excellence Award. The student I selected for this award is a young student on our team. Last year, she came into our team and blew me away with her drive, her knowledge of our sport, her perseverance, her passion for excellence, and her continuing willingness to go above and beyond.
She has continued to show outstanding characteristics of an exemplary student athlete, and she successfully balances the challenges of being involved in many extracurriculars and also staying on top of her schoolwork. I would love to present this award to Lucy Matei. Thank you, guys. I had the honor of being the cheer captain this year. With being the cheer captain came quite a few responsibilities. These responsibilities included making sure the other cheerleaders knew what was going on and when, as well as ensuring the cheerleaders were representing Franklin well when our coach was not around. Despite all these responsibilities, being the captain of this group of girls is something I will never forget. We ended our season with the boys district championship game. Tears were shed by many, mostly me, as the clock ran out of time and as I and my co-captain Lucy presented our boys with the second place plaque. The season was filled with laughter, tears, frustration, and hard work. We were able to work well as a team and really put in the work to make the cheer team be the best it could be. We spent countless hours perfecting cheers, stunts, and our homecoming routine. The work we put in really paid off with how great our team looked this year. This year's cheer team is one of the best ones I have seen in the 4 years I have been a cheerleader. Some of my favorite memories would be all the laughs we had during practices and games. I will never forget the experiences I've had these past 4 years. I want to say a few thank yous in the speech. First, I want to say thank you to Coach Elliott, who spent countless hours working with us cheerleaders perfecting cheers and stunts. Thank you for pushing us to learn new stunts we've never done before. I am forever grateful for the time and energy you put to the cheer team. You pushed us to be the best cheerleaders we could be. Thank you for being an amazing coach these past 2 years. To my co-captains, Kennedy and Lucy, thank you both for sticking by my side this season and helping me lead this team. I don't think I would have been able to lead this team without you two. You both were always willing to call cheers if I wasn't able to, and you both always had a cheer on hand. I would never ask for 2 better co-captains. To my cheerleaders, thank you for being an amazing team to be the captain of. You all have really improved since the beginning of the season. I am so proud of how far we have all come this past year. I encourage you all to keep pushing yourselves each senior on the team. Lastly, I want to say thank you to everyone who has supported us this season. Nothing makes being a cheerleader more fun than having a supporting crowd who cheers along with us during games. I am sad to leave this team, but super excited for my future cheerleading career at Central Methodist University, and I'm super excited to see the future seasons these girls will get to encounter. I hope to see this team grow and learn more each season they get. I cannot wait to attend basketball games this next season and see how much you all have accomplished in the 25-26 cheer season. Once a Bulldog cheerleader, always a Bulldog cheerleader.
Okay, this year, the Missouri State High School Athletic Association Awards are given to juniors or seniors year to year. That combines sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, citizenship, GPA, and athletics. This year, we are honoring 11 total, 5 girls and 6 boys. On the girls' side, we have Brooke McGowan, Annabelle Lair, Kennedy McMillan, Hazel Roth, Kinsley Washburn. On the boys' side, we have Dylan Wells, Bacchus Limburger, Alexander Magruder, Cooper Magruder, Brandon Phillips, and Maddox Thornton. Thank you. Good job, guys. This year's Army Scholar Athletes. These are students that take pride in school, citizenship, athletics, academics, and their country. These are given to juniors and or seniors year to year. This year's recipients of the Army Scholar Athletes Awards are, for the boys, Sawyer Felton, Drew Rohr, Luke Polson. For the girls, Gracie Martin, Brooklyn Brown, and Emerson Eads. Congratulations.
All right, excellent.
The Louisville Daily News Scholar Athlete. This award goes to a senior athlete or athletes with a high GPA. This year's winners are Sophia Hill and Natalie Wiseman, and Jake Marshall and Connor Lonsmeyer. Congratulations. Each year, the Booster Club has sponsored an outstanding athletic award. These athletes have had an outstanding year and or careers in multiple sports, and the coaching staff thought they should be recognized as the Booster Club Outstanding Athlete. Today, we are recognizing 2 males and 1 female. For the boys, Tanner Bishop and Drake Clark. And for the girls, Lily Chibwood. Next, we have Gina Shaw with the Booster Club.
Okay, short and sweet. I just wanted to share a few things about our Booster Club and a little bit about what we do to support our school athletes. Anyone who has a school athlete is considered to be a member of the Booster Club. If you've never been a member of the Booster Club before, we invite you all to participate. We have 7 members which make up the board, and I don't know if you got a chance, if you did not get a chance, if you have a student athlete to vote, we do have 3 new board members that we do need to appoint, so vote on your way out if you didn't get a chance to do so. We have a lot of fundraising. Some of the fundraisings we've done in the past are the pork steak dinner, the alumni golf tournament, concession stand at the softball tournament, and the selling of district t-shirts and New Franklin apparel. We are open to all new ideas for fundraising. This year, our fundraising events, we raised $9,400, thanks to each of you who contributed. This year, all of those funds were used to purchase, and I think Mr. Girding had listed that on the back, what we purchased this year. So we will be having 2 to 3 open meetings for all members each year, and we'll be posting those to Facebook and the school information system. So we would invite you to attend those. With our alumni golf tournament around the corner on Friday, June 14th, We won't be able to sneak in an all-club meeting, but if you're asking if you're willing to volunteer for the Booster Club tournament, we would love to have you help out with that. We would just love and encourage everyone's participation in these meetings and our fundraising events. All right, and then next I have one of the most important awards. Each year the Booster Club recognizes a fan who supports our athletes throughout the year. I, for a fact, know that this person has been to most events, I feel like. And this year, our Booster Club fan award goes to Dan Dobson.
And that concludes our ceremony. Make sure if you want refreshments and cookies, they're out there in the entrance. Student athletes, don't forget your posters at Sophia May. And again, thank you all very, very much for coming. Thank you.
Good.